saw the news yesterday about Allison and Adam, what does that do for you? Do you immediately go back to your mom?
Absolutely. I mean, particularly in this case, I have a niece named Allison and a nephew named Adam, and that just drove it home for me. And like Allison and Adam, they went to work to do a job that they loved, and they never came home. And that's exactly what happened to my mom.
And for me, what it was like yesterday was you remember getting the phone call, you remember the realization that your child is dead. You relive it in a way, and I don't think until you've actually been through the experience that you really understand what it's like. Everybody knows that it's bad to lose a child, but until you've lost a child in this way, you don't really get it. And I heard Mr. Parker talking last night on a Fox interview, and I was struck by what he was saying, and I agree with everything that he said in the last clip, and it just sounds so familiar to me. It's just one more, and you know, it's at the time that my son was killed, I said what we should say to ourselves is not one more. It's the United States of America in the 21st century. We can do better than this.
I've had conversations with family members that have been so raw, like, you know, what do I bury my family member in, and how do I get married without my parent being there? Unfortunately, I've been in both of those situations, and not that I want to, but I can absolutely speak to those experiences because I've been there. I've had to walk people through it, and I will do it again and again and again to help as many people as I possibly can. And that's what the Survivor Network at Everytown is really all about. Survivors helping survivors and coming together to fight this fight and prevent the 88 Americans that are killed every single day by gun and the hundreds of others that are injured.
After my son was killed, everything that I thought was important wasn't important to me any longer. What's important to me now is trying to work to make sure that no other parent in this country, no other family in this country has to go through what my family's gone through. It's terrible, and we can do better than this. You know, I hear from politicians from time to time, in answer to what you do about gun violence, they say it's complicated. That's not political leadership. That's an excuse. You know, people used to come to Steve Jobs all the time and say, we can't do this, we can't do that. Steve Jobs was a leader. He said, go back and figure it out, and he helped figure it out. So when I refuse to accept that kids like mine and Allison and Adam have to die in this country in the way that we do, that occurs every single day. This is the United States of America, the 21st century. We're Americans. We can figure this thing out, and we can do a lot better. We owe it to our kids and our families. You know, the situation we've got in this country with gun violence is unacceptable.
For everyone watching right now, hanging on both of your every word, what one thing today can people do?
To echo Andy Parker, whatever it takes to get common sense gun legislation passed in America. They can join me on September 9th in Washington, D.C. with other advocates and other survivors of gun violence to demand action from Congress. They have ignored us for too long. They have ignored our stories for too long. They're not going to have that option anymore. We are going to demand that they do something about this. And I welcome everyone to join me. Anyone who has been personally touched by gun violence or someone they love has been touched by gun violence can text 877-877. Just text the word survivor to that number, and someone from our Survivor Network will reach out to you and let you know how to get involved in the fight to end gun violence in this country.